right, welcome to the inaugural episode of Off the Bench.
Number one.
So I texted Gordon on Tuesday and I said, "Yo, let's start a sports podcast." And we were doing research, and the next day, the Capitol building was raided for the first time in like 200 years, and we were like, "Football must go on." But I have a question that I need to ask Gordon. Are you surprised that as a Cincinnati Bearcat fan that as soon as Tommy Tuberville was inaugurated as an Alabama senator, that the Capitol building's defense fell apart?
I mean, I honestly cannot be surprised. This guy, I mean, as soon as he came to UC, I remember even talking with my dad. It was like a main thing. He was like, I know this guy's just coming to get one last check. My dad even asked me, like, how old is this guy at this point? Which, I don't know his exact age, but, like, I know it's way too high to be coaching football in today's game. Guy came into UC. I think for 3 years I had to watch them probably give up an average of 45 points. Maybe a half. Maybe a half. I'm not even sure. Might have to fact check me on that. But at least every game, I mean, I don't even know if they had a positive record. I think they might have had. I think in this first season they did well because it was still kind of like when Brian Kelly was the coach and he just dipped out. Like he left some good players. But as soon as Tommy Tuberville's recruits came in, it was like the worst thing I'd ever seen.
Funny enough that the senator he replaced, Doug Jones, kind of looks like Brian Kelly a little bit. So
Well, I need to see. Okay, that's weird. We might need to look into that further. There might be something behind that. We might be able to predict the future here soon. So what is that? That's the UC coach. So wait, so every person that he replaces at something, he looks a little bit like in
Brian
two different
Kelly.
things. So Brian Kelly.
And next on the podcast, we are sponsored by the 7 Mile Market.
Thank you guys
The-
down the street.
The biggest pizza with the most sauce for $9.
That's facts. That 15-inch one topping, it gets abused every Sunday.
Those jalapeno poppers.
Oh my gosh! Don't get Mason started on those jalapeno poppers.
All right, and now we need to talk
Address
about
the elephant in the room.
the elephant in the room. I was kind of scared to address this. I was anxious about addressing this because it was too good.
It's a touchy subject as well.
Kirk Cousins hitting the gritty. First of all, when you have Dalvin Cook on the field and you QB sneak it with Kirk Cousins, bold decision. And then he hits the gritty. It just
Yeah, I mean, it's like a weird situation because, like, I remember exactly where I was sat the moment it happened to because, like, I saw him get in the end zone. I saw him drop the football. And in your head, you're thinking, okay, it's Kirk Cousins. He's probably just going to hand this thing back to the referee. He's going to go over the sideline. He's going to put his headset
be
on.
a rule follower.
Yeah, he's just gonna put his headset on, talk to the OC, and wonder what's going on the next drive. But no, about 8 linemen got behind him, and he hit it. I mean, he straight up was hitting it.
It was
like,
clean. That definitely happened at practice.
I can't. That was 100% guarantee. If Kirk Cousins, I mean, if you ask him and he were to tell you that he didn't do that in front of his wife like 10 times, like he asked her, like,
he
hey,
definitely forces kids
yeah,
to watch him hit
hey,
the gritty.
like, if you guys saw me doing this, would you be embarrassed? He sent it to Justin Jefferson on Snapchat for sure and said, hey man, if I do this, like, are you going to request a trade in the offseason or am I like good to do this? Which, I mean, they must have allowed it, and he did it. I mean, it's a good way to go out. I mean, not a good season for the Vikings, missed the playoffs, but I mean, Kirk Cousins hit the gritty. I feel like that definitely built the chemistry in the locker room.
They started off fine and they fell. They got back in the playoff contention, but he hit the gritty. That's the playoffs.
I mean, that's better. I mean, all right, so take it. Now,
Get beat by the Saints.
This is my question here. Would you rather be a Vikings fan going towards in the future? You have a quarterback that obviously has just won the trust over Justin Jefferson because he hit the gritty, or would you rather be a Bears fan and just go get smacked on Sunday? Like what really is?
That's a valid point.
I'm taking the gritty and just moving on to next year.
It's a team building exercise.
Yeah. Better draft pick for next year. I mean, if I'm looking ahead, I like the Vikings' future better than the Bears.
Big facts. All right. That was a lot about Kirk Cousins at the gritty.
I could talk about that for another 30 minutes. I don't even
We
care.
almost did a special about it. So, first playoff game of the weekend, Saturday, 1 o'clock, Indianapolis Colts at the Buffalo Bills. What are we thinking?
I mean, I feel like I'm I've been talking about this. I've been actually having conversations in my head. Like I can't even sleep at night because I know what I want to say and I know what I should say. This is the first game that we are going to talk about on this podcast, and this is either going to make me look like the best football guru because no one knows my track record at this point. I've got some decent bets out there, but I'm going to say my first thing. I'll say this: Colts cover. The Colts was going to cover. That's what I mean. I'm not going to say who's going to win. Colts cover the 6.5.
Bold.
Colts come in. Or see, it's at Buffalo. Could be cold. For some reason, I like Phillip Rivers in the cold. I feel like he's a big wild card. I don't know the stats on it, but I feel like
he's
good
been
in the
his
wild
whole
card.
career in San
That is true.
Diego.
That is true. But he's got 11 kids.
The best weather on the.
He's got 11
He's
kids.
got 11 kids.
Yes.
11 kids instantly covers the spread.
Yes. I mean, he's got more kids than points he's given up here, so I like his chances. But I mean, I could see the Bills coming out. It's either the game's 41-10 or Colts win. I don't know. All right, I'll take this. Bills win by 24 or the Colts win by 3. I don't know why.
You got to make two bets though. Bills minus 23.5 or Colts to cover. Honestly, Bills last 6 weeks been the most fire team on the planet. Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs. You just can't stop it. Ever since Josh Allen beat the Steelers, he's been on a top. This dude stumbling around the backfield, just chucking balls to Stephon Diggs. We don't even know if he's that good. He's just chucking stuff to Stephon Diggs.
Like I don't know. It just feels like one of those situations that it would just be too perfect that the Bills just win like 10 straight and win the Super Bowl because it's the Bills. What was that noise? What? Let me click this button. You know what in the world?
This podcast was too hot.
Yeah, like I said, this is our first one. We got the smoke detectors going off, so it'll get better in the future. But like I was saying, the Bills, it would just be too perfect. It's just the Bills. They feel like that team that it's just I can't see them lifting a Super Bowl trophy. Which doesn't mean that I don't think they can win one playoff game. I think they should win at least one playoff game, but I'm not on the train of Bills to the Super Bowl. But my counterpart here might be on that train.
I'm totally on that train. When you think about all the great quarterbacks winning a Super Bowl, it's in their first few years. You got Brett Favre. Actually, I don't know. That's probably not true. This is like 7th year. But you got Ben Roethlisberger wins that real early. Tom Brady wins it real early. Patrick Mahomes wins it real early. Russell Wilson. And so I just feel like it's following that trend of you got a young quarterback that is on fire and is going to win the Super Bowl. And I think that's why everybody's on the Buffalo train right now because we're kind of seeing that. Chiefs look a little lackluster, and the Bills are just destroying everybody. They destroyed the Dolphins with their backups in for a half.
And the Dolphins were playing for their playoff hopes, and the Bills did come out and just absolutely smack them. That's the dumb thing is, like, in the NFL, it is tough to win games, but then also, like, I mean, they are dismantling teams. And, like, I mean, some okay teams, some not so great, but, like, still, Dolphins, that's a huge win, especially whenever the Bills were playing for nothing. They were playing for that extra playoff game in front of Bills Mafia, which actually, you know what? I take that back. That's huge for them. They love that. I think that extra game there, because if you look ahead, if you think that the favorites win, Buffalo and Pittsburgh, you think Buffalo going to Pittsburgh, I feel like that's a good win I feel like that's good for Pittsburgh. But like Pittsburgh coming up to Buffalo, I like the Bills.
Yeah, they're also letting Bills Mafia in the stadium.
True. That is true. That is big.
Bills only 6,000 Bills Mafia members. They're louder than the 12th man.
I was about to say I would take 6,000 Bills fans over 25,000 Bengals fans.
Facts.
Yeah, like
Bengals fans are just obliterated off.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think Bengals fans actually know what they're saying. I've never been to a Bengals fan and heard
it's
one
a social event.
Yeah, I've never heard a fan say something like, "Oh, that guy, wait, he might know something." Like anything, like not just about football. I mean anything, like just any facet of life. It just seems like they have a bunch of AI robots that are slam drunk out of their mind.
Yeah, if you're looking to get in a fist fight, Bengals game for sure.
So I mean, we could talk about what do we actually. So I'm locking in that. You know what? I'm not gonna talk about the spread. Colts money line. Oh, that's my pick.
Colts
the over under. So I'll say Colts money line. All right. So also I'll have to preface with this. Towards the end, I'll say things that I'm actually willing to bet on. I might throw a little money on the Colts, but I don't think I'll throw like enough that it would be like dependent on my weekend. So I'll take Colts money line in the 51. I'm predicting the score to be 31 to no, you know what? 21-16 Colts. Slow them down. 37 points are scored in the game. Real low scoring, confusing game. It's gonna be the first playoff game. That's when people are gonna question what's going on here. Why is this happening?
Yeah,
Boom.
I'm gonna take the Bills spread. They win by a touchdown easily, and I'm gonna bet again. And I'm gonna take Bills minus 13. It's the Bills are scoring 50 points a game. I might take the over too, because the Bills might hit the over by themselves,
They could.
and their defense isn't the best. So Philip Rivers could easily put up 28 points.
I definitely just do not trust that the Colts, if they do have to pass the ball in this game, because the receivers are T.Y. Hilton, and then a bunch of, they got like a rookie like Michael Pittman, he's nothing. And then some dude named Pascal that randomly goes off every week in DraftKings, and me and Mason sit there and think, why didn't we pick this guy? Then we remember, who is he? Like, he's one of those guys. But like T.Y. Hilton, when he's your best receiver, it's like, oof, like if you're losing the game, you really don't want to depend on T.Y. Hilton to get you back in it. So I think if the Colts stay close in the beginning, could have a chance. But if the Bills get the ball first, score a touchdown, all my bets, go drive to your local sports bookie, whoever it is, wherever you place your bets, or if you can place them legally in your state, cash out. Because I'm all off if the Bills score in the first drive, game over. Game over.
Facts. All right. Let's move on to the Rams at the Seahawks. Is Seahawks -3, over under 42.5. I'm gonna be honest, I could care less about this game.
Like I was about to say, I would rather watch BYU versus Boise State for some reason. Like I just
fire on that blue turf.
Yeah, no, that's facts. I would rather watch Boise State versus BYU on the blue Bronco turf up in Idaho than watch the Rams and Seahawks play. I mean, the Seahawks last week, their game was like 6-3 going into the fourth quarter. Someone from the 1950s would have been so hyped to watch that game. Me on the other hand, no, I don't know what happens with the Seahawks offense. I don't know why Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett just doesn't score points. That doesn't actually make any sense to me.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is the most athletic dude of all time, and I don't know, he's fire, but I feel like he's fallen off. I feel like he called himself the best in the NFL and immediately started doing mediocre.
Yeah, no, there was a moment in the season that I think his season turned. I had a bet on him to score the first touchdown in the, doesn't matter who they were playing, but he caught a 55-yard pass. It was either the Bears or someone like that. I believe it was the Bears. But caught a 55-yard pass, got tackled at the 1.
No, it was the Eagles.
It was the Eagles. It was Seahawks versus Eagles. It was a Monday night game. Had $20 on DK Metcalf to score the first touchdown. Got tackled at the 1 off a 55-yard catch. Didn't score that game at all. Wasn't my happiest moment. And I think since then, I can't even remember if he's played. Doesn't seem like he's played.
I think that was the game I won $5 off. Richard Rodriguez catching a
Richard Rodriguez? Richard Rodgers?
Richard Rodgers.
This guy just turned into a...
I mean, he's the 4th string Eagles tight end.
Absolute random.
I don't need to know his name.
No, his name's not important to us.
So this Rams-Seahawks game, I honestly think if Jared Goff plays, I will probably bet on the Rams because the Seahawks secondary is worse than the Capitol Building's defense. And I don't know. I feel like the Seahawks are going to underperform.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just feels like this game, it should be the one. What's the game that's on Nickelodeon? Which one of them is it? I don't even remember which one it is.
The Nickelodeon game is Bears Saints.
Bears Saints.
we get to see.
We will talk about that. But this should be the Nickelodeon game because no one actually cares what's on the field. I would rather hear.
But it's the most boring. I'm gonna watch every game no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
And so if I'm gonna pick a game to get spiced up, if I want SpongeBob to spice up a game, it's gonna be Rams at the Seahawks.
Like I would rather hear SpongeBob SquarePants with Patrick Starr color commentating Jared Goff doing a play action rollout to the right and throwing an 8-yard pass to Tyler Higbee for 70 minutes.
Who would be the funniest person to get slimed in this game?
All right, so in the Rams Seahawks, that's a good thing we can talk about for each game. So Bills Colts, if we had to choose one guy to get slimed in that game,
I feel like DeForest Buckner would be real pissed.
DeForest Buckner would be good. I'm gonna think of a Bills player.
I'm gonna say Romeo Crennel.
He's a Texans coach. Just bring him in. I would like to see Colts players. I feel like who's that old Colts center? I don't know why he's popping in my head.
Jeff Saturday.
Hey, shout out Jeff Saturday. If you ever want to come on the podcast, you got a spot.
He looks
right here on this bench.
He looks like he should be a Kelsey brother.
That's facts. I could see that. But back to the Rams Seahawks, who's getting slimed. Pete Carroll. Not a doubt in my mind.
Pete Carroll.
I don't really have to think much about that. It seems like he would like it for some reason.
Sean McVay is too serious to get slimed. He would write a no slime clause with McVay.
Yeah, and he would also have like a plan in place to make sure he doesn't get slimed. Like he'd be a step ahead of that bucket for sure.
He would have an offensive game plan to not get slimed.
There would be a play action with a guard already pulling to hit that guy with the bucket. It just wouldn't happen. Not a chance. So wait, what? Did we decide some bets on this game? What'd you say? If Jared Goff plays, you like the Rams?
If Jared Goff plays, I'll probably do a teaser and take the Rams -2.5. But as of now, as everything stands with the knowledge that everyone has, I'm just taking the under. This game's going to be 12-7.
Yeah, 42.5. That means both teams would have to score 3 touchdowns each.
Oh, that's gross.
I think game ends 17-13 at maximum. So I'm cool with the under. Betting on this game. It's just another game I don't really want to touch. The first 2 games really scare me when it comes to betting like big money on them. But yeah, I like the under. But if I had to pick a team, I'd go Seahawks.
Yeah, unless the Rams. If the Rams come out with 2 tight ends with Cam Akers though.
That is true. I mean, the Rams, when they play well, but like they lost to the Jets, and then like for some reason I don't know if they've.
But if John Wolford's playing the Seahawks, I just can't imagine Pete Carroll losing to John Wolford.
Yeah, no, it won't happen. And I feel like the Seahawks always are in the divisional round no matter what. Like I don't know, I can't remember a time they lost in the wild card. I feel like.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's too good.
Pete Carroll. I mean, yeah, that guy was at USC forever. When was that? That'll make me feel like I'm old. What? When did Pete Carroll leave USC?
USC's been in shambles.
When did Pete Carroll leave USC?
I feel like they quit getting Samoan linebackers after Pete Carroll left, and it was over.
Pete Carroll left USC in 2009.
Dude, what?
So that's 12 years ago? Oh my gosh.
We were 13?
I mean, yeah. Like,
12. We were 12.
Yeah, we were 12. Well, yeah, we were about 12 years old.
No, we were 11.
Yeah, that is true. January of 2009, Pete Carroll left USC. When was that Texas USC national championship? Well, I mean, Vince Young ran that in
2005.
Oh my gosh, I literally remember that. I mean, like I wasn't paying attention a lot because I was 8, but I remember watching Vince Young take that thing to the corner and score.
I don't think I had the attention. I was probably in bed.
I was a sports addict. I was watching every second of everything for some reason.
My mom definitely put me to bed. It was a Monday night.
But so I mean, we talked enough about that Rams Seahawks game. It probably didn't even deserve that much time, in my opinion. It's a game that like 4:15. If you're gonna watch all 3 games, it's maybe the 4 o'clock game. If you do fall asleep for the first half, you won't be mad at yourself.
I would get lunch during the first half.
I could get behind that for sure.
Well, it'd be like 5 o'clock, so maybe dinner.
But moving on to honestly I feel like this game is going to be. It could go one or 2 ways. I think it's either gonna be super interesting and close, or it could be a game that's off by the end of the second half and you're going to bed early. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the football team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers come in at -7.5 favorites. Over/under set at 44.5. What do you think?
I feel like this game's either going to be 20-17 Tampa or 40-6 Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, like, I had a little bit of money on the football team winning last week, but the 2 margins that they needed to win by, they didn't do for me, and Antonio Gibson decided he doesn't like the end zone.
You also put a Fire Sunday, all your bets on the Washington football team.
Yeah, that was a real random. I did have a good Sunday afternoon, but then decided, hey, man, why don't we double all of our profits and go bet on the football team? Didn't end up working out. But, like, this team, I mean, when I was watching them, I kept texting, and we have a betting group chat, and I'm not kidding you. It was sickening to watch the football team try and play offense. Alex Smith cannot move at all. Like, if the Eagles were just rushing guys up the middle, couldn't do anything. If he tried to move to the outside, it was an immediate throwaway. It was sickening to watch. Tampa Bay, if they play smart, which I think they will, I just can't see Tom Brady losing to a team like this early. It seems like Tom Brady, he might lose to a team like this if it was the Super Bowl.
He got dusted by the Titans out of nowhere last year, though.
That is also true. But I feel like the Titans were still, like, it just doesn't compare to fucking 900-year-old peg leg Alex Smith versus the football and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are coming in super hot. I mean, this offense has been insane. Mike Evans is healthy after hyperextending his knee whenever I was literally a catch away from making hundreds of dollars, but he decided to hyperextend his leg and go down for the rest of the game.
But I have a scenario. If Washington were to win, so
Oh my.
Washington, I think they have a secret. They've been riding every game. Joe Buck is the least creative dude on the planet. He says the same thing every time the Washington football team plays. He's like, Alex Smith almost died and almost lost his leg. And we're like, yeah, we know. We saw the gruesome video of him almost losing his leg. And then Ron Rivera beat cancer. And so they've been riding this train. Quarterback almost died. Coach almost died. And I think that if they were to win and then they lost or even won the Super Bowl, I think they got a secret in their back pocket. Because if you watch Alex Smith, it looks like that he has an old wooden pirate leg. He can't move. And so I think they want to add to that inspiration train that he's the first quarterback to ever win a playoff game with a peg leg. And that's my Washington football team prediction.
Yeah, I feel like if Washington, if that was the case, I would like it against anyone, except for I feel like Bruce Arians is the type of guy that he's in that locker room like, hey guys, if one of you guys are going to dive at his legs, just make sure it's the one that's hurt. Like he seems like, wait, who's even the Washington backup quarterback if this guy goes down? Because this Tampa Bay team is like, that defensive line's scary. I could see this man getting injured early in this game. Oh, it's that one guy, Taylor Heineke or whatever. Was that what his name was?
Yeah. Although if I had a leg as bad as Alex Smith, I would not want to get tackled by Ndamukong Suh.
Oh, I just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to step on this field. Like it just seems like a tough situation. They don't really have a lot of weapons. I mean, Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson have been banged up for like the last 7 weeks. It just seems like something that their defense would have to play out of their mind. And I just don't think that Tom Brady allows this. But I mean, we even have a note here from Kyle that he literally put down that Tom Brady is 1-3 against the NFC East in the playoffs, which does scare me.
That is scary. He's only played them in Super Bowls,
Yeah.
but that is funny because the NFC East has been pretty bad over the last 10 years. And, I mean, shout out Eli Manning.
Yeah, Eli Manning.
He got beat by Eli Manning twice. Nick Foles once. But he beat Donovan McNabb, who's probably the best QB out of those four.
So then that makes you think that Alex Smith is going to come in here and throw 29 for 34, 3 touchdowns, 286 yards.
Alex Smith probably had a better career than Nick Foles, except for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Take the Super Bowl season out.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
And not even Super Bowl season. This man just came in for 3 games, played fire for some reason.
He's the Cardell Jones.
And then ended Carson Wentz's career. Guy can't come back from that.
Yeah, facts.
It's kind of a tough thing to hold up for Carson Wentz. Like, it's like, hey, man, come back and take over this team that just won the Super Bowl. They're like, Coach, we're not really that good. I don't know how we won the Super Bowl. Too bad, man. Do it, or you're not going to be our quarterback anymore. I feel bad for the guy.
And also, no, Tampa Bay, all their wins are against bad teams. All their losses are against good teams. Tom Brady, he's older than my dad, and he probably goes to bed at 7 p.m. every night, so he might be tired on Saturday night.
What were some talks about this? Game is at 8:15, and let's see, it's at the football team, so that's in Washington.
Oh, him on a
that's a bit of
flight and past his bedtime.
Doesn't get to sleep in his own bed the night before. Has to sleep in a hotel bed. Would like to see what the hotel they're staying in is like.
DC is kind of wild right now. I bet there is one wild Trump supporter in the lobby screaming some wild things.
If he's not in a very nice hotel by himself and he doesn't get a full night's rest, this could be a scary one.
I could see him getting an Airbnb like in Arlington, Virginia.
See that'd be bad news for the football team. I would say then the Buccaneers come out win by 28.
This game depends on
Tom Brady's accommodation.
Yeah, his hotel. His hotel.
You need to look into that. But I mean, like Tom Brady, he's just not going to lose to these guys, is he? Really? Like I just don't see it. I just can't. If I see the football team in the next round, though, I'm going to be mad. Like team's 6-10.
I am betting on the Washington spread though. Because I feel like in every other game, I'm taking the underdog. Actually, not every game. But I feel like I have to pick a few underdogs, and I do think Washington covers in prime time.
If I had to say, it is 7.5, and I hate 7.5s because like that's a touchdown.
Because they have to win by 10.
Yeah,
or
it's
7.
something or more, and you don't win by 8 or 9 usually. You win by 6. You win by 3, 6, or 10.
Unless you're the Browns.
Yeah, they win by 2, they win by 1, they lose by 5. Like they don't do anything like conventional. But you know what? I'll take Tampa Bay to cover. If you ever, I mean, towards the end of this, you'll hear some of our bets that we're actually willing to make, and I'm more of a guy to like change it down to alternate spreads like Tampa 2.5 and like put it together with something else. And then the over under 44.5.
I would take the over.
I feel like it's gotta be over because I mean at worst.
I think Tom Brady scores 35 in this
Yeah, I was like at worst the football team gets 13. Like they gotta get 13. So then it's 31. I feel like
I might change it to Tampa Bay covering the spread because 35 to 13 sounds like a really.
I think that could happen. And then also, I mean, I'll talk about this later, but Ronald Jones, I believe his player prop. I'm a big guy on player props. Ronald Jones over 56.5 rushing yards. I promise that's an absolute lock. Like, they're going to be up by 16 or 14 in the fourth. Actually, you know what? By the second quarter, they're going to be up. Tom Brady's going to be resting. He's like, I just want to hand this football off.
Washington does randomly have the best front seven.
They do.
In the playoffs.
I just think they're going to be so tired. Like, I could see Washington starting with 9 3-and-outs. Like, it could be, like, they're going to get a stop. They're going to be like, yeah, let's get a stop. And then they're going to get called right back on the field because Alex Smith just threw 3 balls away.
That's true. It's funny that the 2 worst teams in the playoffs, the Bears and Washington, might have only made it to the playoffs because of their front sevens.
Yeah, just 2 defenses that are playing. I mean, like...
Or maybe just even Khalil.
Do you think how... wonder how awkward it is to be in a locker room whenever your offense is like a lot worse than your defense. Do you ever just like look at the guy across from you like, man, can you like guys like maybe get 2 first downs?
I mean, imagine being Khalil Mack and Mitchell Trubisky as your quarterback.
Oh, dude, like I would just be like, man, come on, just please, like hand it off to David Montgomery like, 3 times and give us a break.
He's like, this could literally be Deshaun Watson.
And that's also another thing. Deshaun Watson might be requesting a trade this offseason. Which that would be
I feel like
absolutely huge.
I don't know. I think J.J. Watt saw some cameras and he was like, he's like, I'm gonna get internet. He's been having a down season and he needs to bump himself up.
I do feel like J.J. Watt loves when people talk about him. That's like something like he'll go out of the way to say things to be like, dude, I need people to remember that I'm in the NFL.
There hasn't been a hurricane in a while where he could donate crazy amount of money.
That is so facts.
There hasn't been any tragedies in Houston in a while.
And his brother is just obviously better than him at this
He's
point.
not even the best in the family right now.
Yeah, not even close. Like T.J. Watt's Defensive Player of the Year. So he has no choice but to make up some rumors that Deshaun Watson... What did he say? He said something really crazy. He said, like, man, I'm sorry for wasting a year of your time.
They did waste a season.
They did.
I hope that he stays because I feel like the NFL has always been a league where the bad teams can get good off the draft. We don't want to be the NBA.
No, I don't like people just like forcing their way out of everything. But the Texans are bad right now because they also do not even have a first or second round pick this year to fix anything. So I mean, they're gonna have to fix it through. They already paid Deshaun Watson a ton of money. They're really bad. They're in a really bad spot. Sad time to be a Romeo Cornell supporter. I did see though, talking about some coaches that are gonna be moving it. Marvin Lewis also got interviewed to be the Jets head coach. I, as a Cincinnati Bengals
fan,
I'll allow it.
I hope he rehires.
I am a weird
Dr. Heat.
I like when Bengals players or coaches go elsewhere and try and do well, as long as they're not messing up my team. Like as a Bengals, like as soon as Andy Dalton, I hated Andy Dalton for a lot of the time.
I ripped my shirt off for Andy Dalton last week, and Wayne Gallman got that.
And then the butt fumble sucked it up and caught it, and then they
the butt recovery.
The butt recovery, yes, not even the butt fumble.
It was inevitable that we have a butt recovery after the butt fumble.
Yeah, I mean that is just. I mean that moment was terrible too. We had some money on the Cowboys. We were like, Wayne Gallman just fumbled because Casper the Ghost just stripped him out, and then the guy sits on it to get it back. And when they did the replay, like it actually showed it, like he actually recovered it with his butt, and that was declared possession. It made me sick.
It was declared possession in the pile. There was like a window, maybe like that big.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The refs always get it right.
I will say, we are big ref lovers here. We are not ref haters on this podcast. I respect some of the times I see them make calls with how fast. Like I mean, think about how fast these NFL athletes are. Like, imagine trying to watch Tyreek Hill's feet as he's getting 2 feet in bounds with how fast those things are moving. And, like, I say 90% of the time they get the call right on the field. Like, that's... I mean, I would take that every day of the week.
Yeah, if there was an over-under of challenges being correct and it was at 0.5, I'm taking the under every game.
100%. It's just crazy. I mean, it's a 4-hour game, and, like, they never miss a beat. Like, you think quarterbacks make mistakes, running backs make mistakes, but refs might make the least mistakes on the entire football field.
They got to be on Adderall.
I would say that definitely has to be a case because they're old too. Like, how are old guys doing this? I feel like that's not something for old guys.
I bet everybody's just 54.
Yeah, that's old though.
But
it is weird because they also keep up really well. I'm kind of confused with referees. I need to do a little bit more research on what.
We haven't seen one get hit in a while.
I do miss that. I remember like a few refs just getting slammed by some dude coming across the middle.
I remember when Brett Favre was playing for the Vikings.
Oh my god, I remember this.
There was a kick return, and one of their O linemen mangled a ref. It was insane.
Are we even talking about the Tampa Bay versus the football team at this point?
We love refs.
Refs.
We're ref stands on this podcast.
Can we
That's going to be made.
We need to get a ref on the podcast.
We're wearing referee shirts next week.
Oh, I could be down for that.
Yeah.
Wait,
we go to Party City.
Who's the most known referee? Well, that guy Ed Hockley. I feel like
I
know that name.
The dude on the Bengals with the southern accent who did it when we were younger.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about too.
It's the only one I remember.
Man, I love a ref. I want to talk to one day. Just wonder what in the world how they're always so locked in.
We're gonna interview a ref one day. All right, that's enough of that. Ravens at the Titans. Over under 54.5. Pretty appropriate, I would say.
This
is a stressful game.
This game.
Most stressful.
Yeah, I would say like it comes in as +3, and I don't know why. I feel like it should just be a straight -0,
0.5.
-0 +0. Pick who you think is going to win this football game. Because, I mean, like, it's weird that the Ravens are the favorite, too. Like, this team, I mean, they're good. They're definitely good. But
I can see where they're coming from because the Titans' defense did just as well as the Bengals' defense against the Texans.
That is true. But, I mean, like, yeah, the Titans did just have a rough game. They went to Green Bay. So this is also my thinking. They went to Green Bay. They played in the snow. Didn't enjoy themselves. That's something that takes a little bit to get over.
Yeah, so Ryan Tannehill chilling in Miami all those years.
Yeah, like it's just like it was tough. Like no one expected them to win that game. They were still falling out in that game against Houston, and it didn't go well. But they got the win. And I think this is a team that does whenever the game is close in the end. Derrick Henry always busts a 50-yard run to win a game. So if this game is close going to the fourth, I'll take the Titans. For sure, but Lamar Jackson in the first half of football games, he's the best football player I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding.
We need another. Lamar Jackson needs to take a poop in a game one more time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even one more time. I think he just has to do that every time. Just Trace McSorley come in for a drive, get a 3 and out.
I mean, who's their backup quarterback? Troy Smith right now.
Troy Smith, I'd be down to see him.
He was their third stringer.
I remember I used to play with him in Madden because I was back when I thought I was an Ohio State fan, and I realized I wasn't. And I was like, God, Troy Smith. I mean, he's got to be decent on this game. Wasn't very bad. Small guy, not a good player.
But here's my 100% big facts on the Ravens. Everybody's saying they're the hottest team in football. Everybody's saying they were just bad because of COVID. But I think they're hot because they're playing bad teams. They beat the Cowboys. Cowboys only won 6 games. The Browns, arguably the biggest frauds of all time with 11 games. Their point differential is -1. I don't know how you win 11 games and have a -1 point differential. Then they beat the Jaguars. I don't even have to talk about that. The Giants are bad. They still rush for a lot on that front seven, though. And then the Bengals.
Which, yeah, I mean, like...
I didn't even know who Brandon Allen was until Joe Burrow got hurt.
That is facts.
So...
Had to look up everything about him, who he is.
And then they did lose. They lost to the Patriots. Cam Newton doesn't have a shoulder. So,
It makes me mad.
Bold prediction of the week. Titans run all over. This is going to be a rushing game. This might be the 2 best rushing teams.
Yeah. For sure.
But Lamar Jackson does have a deep ball, but imagine just getting straight roasted by Derrick Henry, random Ryan Tannehill bomb to A.J. Brown. That's the difference.
Yeah, this game, so it's in Nashville. Lamar Jackson, this is just the one that he has to come out and prove that he can play in the playoffs. He has not done anything in a big playoff game yet. Like, he's played so bad.
He could blame it on COVID.
He could.
He did have COVID.
He did COVID a while ago. I think this might be a little bit too long now to blame that on.
I don't know. I did see that you can have heart problems after you have COVID if you play sports.
Yeah, but if you watch that guy run,
it's true.
It just can't happen.
I was watching Mike Vick highlights the other day. Lamar Jackson looks shiftier than Michael Vick.
No, that's weird. Is I feel like these NFL athletes are just becoming better and better and better. Like, it's weird. Like, they're turning into like absolute cyborgs.
I just think these college coaches, because he actually had a good college coach at Louisville. Charlie Strong was pretty
won a Heisman.
I just feel like these college coaches know how to turn into cyborgs.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an uptick in cyborgs in college football.
Oh, dude.
Justin Fields is a cyborg.
Trevor Lawrence is already being talked about to be like
I feel like he has a personality.
Yeah, that is true. But
Trey Sermon, cyborg. I don't know.
That guy came out
Ryan Day made him in a factory.
I was going to say, they pretty much went into the weight room, started like just slamming weights together, and somehow a human came out.
Yeah,
like, that's how that happened.
That makes no sense.
Yes. But
we'll talk about Ohio State later.
Yeah, the Ravens, like, it's just that they got to come out. Like, I just do not trust any of the receivers. I mean, their best, when you look at like some of their odds for things, when you look at receiving yards, the person that they think is going to get the most receiving yards on their team is Mark Andrews. It's a tight end. Like, that's the case if you have Travis Kelce, you have George Kittle. Mark Andrews cannot be your best target.
Even the Chiefs don't rely on Travis Kelce.
No, they don't.
Like, Travis Kelce's only good because Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill has 8 dudes on him.
Yeah.
And then the other 8 dudes have a QB spy on Pat Mahomes. There's 16 dudes looking at those two. Travis Kelce's obviously going to be open. Mark Andrews, I mean, like, every team expects this team to run the ball. I mean, both of them are going to be expected to run the ball, but the thing that does not get talked about the most is Ryan Tannehill has serious speed, and like, I swear this guy he's so fast that if I was able to make a bet that this guy takes a 25-yard read option to the house and does that little celebration at the end of it, I would, because he's going to. It's just everyone's looking at Derrick Henry that he just keeps it, and even after the whole defense notices that Ryan Tannehill has the ball, they're like, nah, we'll still just go watch Derrick Henry.
He might be the most underrated quarterback of all time.
If you look at Ryan Tannehill's stats this year,
top 5 quarterback.
It's insane. It is a crazy thing. Like, it might be because there is 9 dudes in the box trying to stop Derrick Henry, but
it could be true that I could play quarterback for the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry.
That is true.
And
A.J. Brown.
I could throw a deep ball.
Also, that guy A.J. Brown, if you throw him the ball 5 yards, he turns it into a 20-yard catch because no one can tackle him either. So, like, maybe stats are skewed.
Yeah. He was all right on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
He got a good team. He stepped up to the plate. He beat the Ravens, who were 14-2, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So
no, the Titans, I mean, they were still up on the Chiefs, too. They could definitely come out and win this game. I just don't know.
I'm taking Titans.
I think over 54.5.
I would take the over.
I think I would take the over.
I feel like the Titans have played let up 38 points 2 weeks in a row.
And this is the early game, right? Like, it's at 1 o'clock? Yeah, it's the 1 o'clock game. I, for some reason, have also a theory that 1 o'clock games have more points in them than night games. I feel like night games are more defensive for some reason. I feel like they're always like, all right, let's keep the game close. We know everyone's watching right now. But this game, 34-31, Titans win. It's an absolute crazy game. Probably the favorite game that we'll watch all weekend.
I would agree with that. All right. Back from a break, we need to be well rested for this one. The first ever NFL Nickelodeon game. I've been excited for this since they announced it. I watched the Nickelodeon Slime Awards every year of my childhood.
I thought you were about to say to this day you still do. I was like, okay, well, then
no,
I need to ask some
questions. They got too mainstream. And so here we go. The first 2 quarterbacks are Mitchell Trubisky and a ribless Drew Brees.
I just feel like Drew Brees is not meant to be on Nickelodeon at all. I feel like it's just awkward. How old is he? 41? You can't be 41 and on Nickelodeon.
Too old. I feel like he graduated from Purdue 2000. When was the Phillip Rivers Drew Brees draft. No, never mind. Drew Brees.
Eli Manning. Wasn't that the same year?
No, because
Drew Brees. But I mean, so like,
this dude was drafted in 2001.
2001.
He's a year younger than Tom Brady.
This guy has been playing football since we were 4, professionally, not even just in college. So that means he went to Purdue the year we were born, and he's going to play on Nickelodeon this Sunday against the Bears.
We were 3 when that season started.
That's just too old for me.
It makes sense. We were 3. Now the Nickelodeon game.
Facts. It's just all coming together now. Saints, the 9.5 favorites against the Bears.
Yeah.
I feel like
they're going to cover. Although I do feel like there's a possibility of Drew Brees being in a bad mood because he's playing in the Nickelodeon game.
I think his kids have been talking about him all week. Like,
That's
hey,
true.
Dad, do you know there's a chance that they animate some slime onto you?
If he wins, do you think that one kid he has will wear Nickelodeon headphones instead of the sound canceling ones?
I think that could also happen. I need to see.
He's a baby. He's only like 10 now. He's got to be hyped. His dad's on Nickelodeon.
No, for sure. These kids are definitely like, wow, this is the best moment. I'm so much happier that I'm going to have him on Nickelodeon rather than Joe Buck talking about my dad.
This is a tragedy that Phillip Rivers isn't playing this game.
Oh my gosh, it's honestly so depressing.
He's got to be the best dad in the NFL with 11
Dude,
kids.
11 kids. They would be so hype around it. They wouldn't even go to the game. They would make sure they're at home to watch their dad on Nickelodeon. I need to know how it's going to work. Like, what is actually, like, how is the broadcast actually working? Like, I don't know. What's
That's
going
to be a big portion of next week. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, I need to.
We're going to break that down.
I was going to say, I might need to pull it up and, like, actually draw up some X and O's on how this broadcast
pretty sure I heard that SpongeBob is actually commentating.
If that's actually true, is that even possible?
I hope they only do it for 1 quarter. I love SpongeBob. Best cartoon of all time. 3.5 hours of football commentating.
Especially if I've got money on the line and Patrick Starr comes in to saying something.
If I bet on the Saints cover and Mr. Trubisky throws a touchdown and SpongeBob announces it,
like picture SpongeBob.
I can't handle that.
Picture SpongeBob SquarePants announcing that Drew Brees is out for the game with a broken rib. Like, it's going to make me very mad. Like, TVs will have to watch out because I might hit them with a pole. But other than that, like, I mean, like, when you actually talk about what's actually going to happen on the field, Mitchell Trubisky, we were talking about this before, has a serious chance to take a step up in his career and become Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins, he played on Washington before the Vikings. He was a bottom half quarterback. I think after this game he took the 15th spot.
Yeah, no, that is this game right here is Mitchell Trubisky's chance because Kirk Cousins last year knocks out the Saints. Mitchell Trubisky has that chance to become the next bang average quarterback that gets a lot of money, just doing very above average, never going to win a Super Bowl. Never. Unless something insane happens. Just going to do, we'll maybe hit some dances. If Mitchell Trubisky hits a gritty, then it would be like serious, like there might be some identity theft going on. Like he might come in with number 8 next year, Mitchell Trubisky. That's when we start asking questions. But then what's the step after Kirk Cousins? I was thinking about this also. So look here. Mitchell Trubisky, Kirk Cousins, and then Ryan Tannehill. It's like an evolving Pokemon, and like Ryan Tannehill is about as good as you'll ever get. Like for that player type.
You have to have potentially the best running back of all time.
Yeah, like it's just a lot of things that have to go into place. But these guys, their ceiling is Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, and what's his name, Mitchell Trubisky. That's their ceiling. It's Ryan Tannehill. That's as good as you're getting.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But I mean, like, actually, don't you just think the Saints come out and just smack these guys?
Yeah. The over
47.5 is a low number.
It is low. I feel like it could potentially just hit 48 and the Saints win 30-10.
Well, 38-10? My gosh, do you think if they come out
that's 5 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah. I like the Bears to score 17. If they score 17, the Saints are scoring 30.
Who did Alvin Kamara score 6 touchdowns on?
That was the Vikings. The Vikings. And the Vikings aren't a bad run defense team. Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas is supposed to be back for this game. If he's back too, the Saints score 31 easy.
Mike Thomas.
Wanting to be close. Because for some reason, Taysom Hill will score 1.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas will score 1. Alvin Kamara will probably score 2. So then that's already 4.
The world's kind of forgotten about Michael Thomas. He had a down year.
And he was just hurt.
Drew Brees was hurt, and he was hurt.
And you can't expect Taysom Hill to throw fast still.
top 5 wide receiver when he was in his.
People
He's
have
still young.
Yeah, people have a big like. All right, this guy sat out for a little bit.
Was
or
he
played.
27?
He cannot be old. I mean, I remember him being at Ohio State.
He won the national championship with Ohio State.
It's like one of those things is NFL fans, like if a player has a bad season because of like injuries, even if he plays through them or anything, they just immediately like, wow, this guy sucks.
It's like
for
when,
no reason.
It's like when you forget about LeBron.
Yeah, you just don't. Like you're like, oh, LeBron took maybe 2 weeks off in the regular season, just casually getting like 20 a night. They're like, okay, let's wait for the playoffs to come around. Michael Thomas will come out. He'll play well. He'll probably get 8 catches. 80
Although
yards.
Michael Thomas is nowhere near LeBron James.
Not even absolutely close.
All right. What are we betting on this?
9.5 is a lot of points.
I'm taking a parlay. I'm taking Saints -2.5 in the over.
I could get behind that. Or even like if those odds weren't good enough, I would take like Saints 5.5.
That's at least
the
like
over.
a -150.
Oh, if you do Saints 5.5 and the over, that's like plus.
Well, the
$170.
over's already
Yeah, -110 or whatever. So yeah, I think that'd be perfect right there. I mean that's some good money. I just don't trust the Bears. David Montgomery, I mean he literally played on our high school field.
Didn't know that till last week.
That's a fact.
Watched the dude with my own eyes run for 372 yards and
6
a pick.
touchdowns.
And a pick
Yep.
by who?
Zach Smith.
Zach Smith. Shout out to Zach Smith.
Got an interception on David Montgomery. We figured that out on SWAC Sports.
Yeah,
Yes.
I used to live on SWAC Sports. I would stare at my tennis stats.
We did watch David Montgomery run all over our high school football team, and it was an impressive feat.
He's the only person I've ever seen run and be like, yeah, that dude runs a 4.4. Like, that's just
Yeah.
what that looks like.
I mean, I remember the exact spot I was in the stands. I was stood next to my buddy Mason, and all week we had been talking straight trash to the football
Was
team.
that the year I led the student section?
Yes, it was our senior year.
Yeah,
And
big facts.
And I remember all week have been talking trash, like David Montgomery's gonna thrash you guys. And I'm like, no, we got this. And first play, fakes a read option to his other running backs, which first off, how do you fall for this? Because who even is this other guy? You put all 11 guys look at David Montgomery. He fakes it, takes it up the left sideline, fastest thing I've ever seen with my eyes, and I've been to a NASCAR race in my life. Fastest thing I've ever seen with my eyes. Down the sideline, scored, looked at my buddy, said, why are we here? This is over. Like, we should go home. But Saints, I would say caution on the 9.5. Just take it 5.5. Take it down to 5.5. Come on. Over, though. We're big fans of the over.
9.5 in a playoff game is wild.
That's a lot. But
that's
it's the
like...
Bears. The Bears are a team that, I mean, they started the year off 5-1, and everyone was like, why are they 5-1? And then
they play good teams.
Yes, and then they fell off, and then somehow squeaked into the playoffs because the Cardinals just decided they don't know how to play football anymore. Kyler Murray started faking leg injuries every week, and they fell apart. So I don't even know. I don't even think the Bears should be in the playoffs. They should have just let in the Dolphins in the AFC. Actually, I don't even like the Dolphins either. Maybe just take the Bears out.
Tua would have thrown 9 picks.
Yeah, Bears. Not a big fan of them. I just don't think they come out and do anything. But this next one, the 8:15, our last game of Wild Card Weekend.
It had potential to be a historic game.
I was really looking forward to this game. I still am. I think they could.
Because even though I was debating real hard in my head if I wanted the Browns to win, because we're Bengals fans.
Yeah.
And Browns fans would be so annoying if they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, like, I'd still like if I.
We're Ohio boys, though.
Yeah, and like like a Steelers fan, I'll take a Browns fan over a Steelers fan any day of the week. If you're a Steelers fan out there, it takes a lot for me to like you as a human.
This is directly to the dude who tore Carson Palmer's ACL.
What was his name? Kimo Van Ollenhoffen?
No idea. I was like 6. You ruined my childhood. I didn't watch the Bengals for like 8 years. Turn on TV, watch Andy Dalton. Didn't watch him again for a long time.
I've been a big Bengals guy for the longest time.
Always sad.
And it's just never been good.
In the playoffs, we hate the Texans and the Steelers.
I also remember one year we played the Jets, and there was this dude named Brad Smith that ran the Wildcat on us. and he just went off, and it was so annoying.
The
It was
Bengals
Mark
might-
Sanchez and Brad Smith just knocked us out with ease. It was so annoying.
The Bengals could be the only playoff team to ever get knocked out by the Wildcat.
Yeah, that definitely has to be that. I mean, we haven't won a playoff game since 1990. I mean, we were -7. -7 years old. The last time the Bengals won a playoff game.
Yeah.
1990. That is 31 years ago.
But they almost won a Super Bowl.
Not in our lifetime, or even close to it. But I mean, completely off. I mean, this is technically right on pattern because this is an AFC North battle. Browns,
we love the
Steelers.
AFC North.
Browns at Steelers. It's going to be a hard-nosed game. But, I mean, as most of you guys know, if you don't, then I don't know why you're getting this information from us, that Kevin Stefanski will not be coaching because he got the good old COVID, got smacked with that. And also, Joel Bitonio, which, unless you don't know football, a left guard for the Cleveland Browns is a huge deal because now Nick Chubb is going to be having to break 6 tackles behind the line to get a yard.
They still have other Pro Bowlers on the line. Though.
That offensive line is scary. A bunch of big guys that I would want guard my front
I do
door.
think if that offensive line ever needs more money and some of them leave, that the Cleveland Browns would immediately go 7-9.
Yeah, no, that is definitely true. But so I mean, the 5.5 for the Steelers, I feel like it's almost disrespectful to the Steelers.
If you're gonna bet on the Steelers, bet on the -5.
Yeah, no, I think the Steelers. come out
You
with
might
this
even
game.
want to up it to 6.5.
The only thing that's stopping me from betting for the Steelers is my hatred for the Steelers.
Big Ben could get hurt.
I want Big Ben to get hurt. Can I say that? I think I can say. I don't.
They
want,
hurt Carson Palmer.
That's facts. I want Big Ben to get injured.
They would. They would have went to the AFC Championship.
Dude, so many things. I mean, also if Jeremy Hill didn't fight.
I remember where I was sitting. I was wearing a Chad Johnson jersey, Bengals hat. I won this stuffed animal bus with the Bengals logo on it. I was hugging it. Carson Palmer goes down with ACL injury. I was crying.
And then John Kitna just jogs on the field, and even at the young age of what? I mean, what were we, 10 probably?
No, we were super young.
Like, you think like 6 or 7?
In the 6 to 8 range.
You think so?
Yeah.
What year was that? Bengals versus
Carson
Steelers, Carson
Palmer.
Palmer injury.
ACL tear.
Let's see this. What year? 06? 07? 07, right?
Probably.
Can we find it?
I don't know.
No.
Carson Palmer ACL tear.
Yeah, like, this should be a hard Google search.
versus
What are they?
Steelers.
Did they try and take this off the internet?
This is conspiracy theory. Year. I'm also really bad at the computer. They're still not telling
Oh,
me.
no, there we go. Oh, that's 2012, but that's not when it happened. That is completely false. Whatever year it was, I definitely remember.
Oh, this says. Oh, it didn't
No,
do
that
it.
is the. I mean, are they just not going to talk about this
Oh wait, I found a Carson Palmer.
injury history? This is what we needed.
Not what I expected. 2006,
2006.
January 8th.
So we were 9.
Yo, tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Tomorrow.
Wait, no, yesterday.
Tomorrow's the
yesterday.
No, today's the 7th.
Wait, what is it? January 8th or January 7th? Oh my god.
Tomorrow is the 15th year
No.
anniversary.
So that has almost been a whole time that it takes to get a license. So you get your license when you turn 16. It's been 15 years since Carson Palmer.
15
tore his
years.
ACL.
We need a moment of silence for this, but we're not going to take it.
No, not at all. But man,
Ruined my childhood.
So what were
We
we
still haven't talked about the
Well,
Browns and
We
Steelers.
don't need to talk about it yet. We need to reminisce. What were we? 8 years old when that happened?
2006. We hadn't turned whatever that happened.
Oh yeah,
that
so
year
we're
yet.
8, about to turn 9.
So,
that upcoming
we were
year.
8.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember even at 8 years old watching John Kitna come out on the field. I had enough football knowledge in my brain to know we've lost this game already. Like I was like, okay, what? This is over. And it was a really sad moment.
The year. I don't know. No, it wasn't the year before that. I think the year after that for Halloween, I was John Kitna though.
That's honestly,
I don't know why.
makes
He
me
didn't do
mad.
anything good.
John Kitna was, he's got to be one of the worst quarterbacks ever.
Yeah, I remember him jogging on the field. Like,
Dude, it's just, he would go out there and he'd miss everything. Like it wasn't like that's the thing that
that
surprised
wide
me
receiving
sometimes.
core was dirty.
Yeah, had guys all over the place.
Kirk Cousins on our team, Super Bowl.
Facts. Kirk Cousins in 2006 would have put in work. But back to the Browns Steelers, which is where this all comes from.
1 second. Kirk Cousins in 5 years is the next John Kitna.
I could see it. Kirk Cousins, even though he's making super bank, That's
Who
just
isn't,
crazy.
though?
They all are. It is nuts. I mean, Matthew Dellavedova over in the NBA gets paid bank, and that's just sickening.
You Rudy Gobert making
Guy
200 million
scored-
off
guy-
11 points.
Guy scores 7 points, gets 1 block a game. They're like, yeah, let's pay him $40 million a year.
All right. The first question of this game is, why does God hate the Cleveland Browns? I think if God hated the Cleveland Browns, if the God hated any team, it would be the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, they just have the. I mean, how is it even possible that they have made their way to the playoffs and now they're being dealt with another COVID situation? Even though, like, this is a whole month now that they've had people out for COVID. Like, it feels like when this happened to the Ravens, they're like, okay, let's reschedule the game. We'll help you out here. It's happened to the Browns. Like, there hasn't been a week that they haven't had someone out for COVID, and they just keep saying like, oh, why don't you guys just figure it out? Well, it's kind of hard to if you guys are expecting us to come into the same room and play a football game.
They've been acting like each COVID thing is an isolated event.
Yeah,
but it's been a whole who's going on next?
Yeah, it's just not even. It's not really that fair. I would like to see this game postponed. It's maybe give us like a Wednesday playoff game or something like that. That would be even good, better for me.
Or
Cancel the Sunday night game, move it to Wednesday.
But the only reason I wouldn't watch this game is if Big Ben goes down and I have to watch Mason Rudolph.
Oh,
I hate that dude.
Mason Rudolph. I was even saying this last Sunday. If Mason Rudolph was good, he would be the most annoying player in NFL history. Like picture if like Mason Rudolph was acting like Johnny Manziel and he was good. Like if you put that face on how Johnny Manziel acted, it would ruin the NFL for me.
What?
If
what SWAC high school would Mason Rudolph have went to?
Talawanda? Maybe Ross?
Ross.
Yeah, Ross.
Probably because we hate them so much.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost too perfect for him to be there. But like Mason Rudolph, like if he had the skill of Pat Mahomes, like if I had to watch him roll out to the right, throw it across his body 50 yards, dot someone up, and turn around and go like this to the sideline, it would ruin everything for me. So thankfully that guy's terrible.
He has the worst face ever.
Terrible. I understand why Myles Garrett threw the helmet at him.
We are stands of what Myles Garrett did.
Yeah, I mean I would allow that.
Did you ever see that tweet where afterwards Adam Schefter just tweeted
assault
yeah. Period.
Just the most straightforward thing ever, just assault. I mean,
was he right?
I mean, technically, I guess he wasn't wrong. Whenever I saw it happen, I wasn't watching the game live, but after I saw the video, I was like, dude, what in the world? You cannot do that.
I hope it happens again.
What if this happens? I don't know how Mason Rudolph. What if even like just after the game, after the Browns lose, Myles Garrett just runs over, hits him with the helmet again? Do you kick Myles Garrett out of the league?
Unprovoked?
Yeah, just unprovoked. It could happen though. Just a little mad from a loss. Steelers are winning this game though. All things aside, I hate the Steelers. I won't be rooting for them, but they will win this football.
If the Steelers showed up like they did, like the Washington football team a few weeks back, though, Browns could still pull something out.
Yeah, I think the Steelers, they had those 3 straight weeks. The football team, the Bengals, then they lost again. Bills?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Bills, Bengals, and the
football team, Bills, Bengals games. They were bad. But then they the Colts game, I mean, they were bad in the first half. And then that second half, they were so good in that second half.
He did get beat by the Bengals.
Yes, they did get beat by the Bengals, and that's tough to overcome.
That's probably why the spread's at -5.5.
They're still talking about that. They're like, ooh, this is an 8.5 game. They're like, put that Bengals
If you're
game.
Vegas, you're not gonna put put it in favor of the team that lost to the Bengals.
But like, could you picture Baker Mayfield winning a playoff game right now? I just don't think it's happening. As much as I would want the Browns to beat the Steelers,
I feel like that dude does call a bunch of things, and it always ends up happening.
That is true.
He was like 5'8" in high school and said he was going to play for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And made it.
Yeah,
and then he said he was going to make the playoffs with the Browns. Made it.
Yeah, that is true. Respect to that.
Since 1992.
The Browns are a team that I did not think they were going to be in the playoffs anytime soon. And now the Bengals are stuck in a division with the Browns, Steelers, and Ravens, and that makes me very sad to think about that all 3 of these teams. So one of them has the Steelers they're just the Steelers. They're usually good. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson, and the Browns have a really good coach, and a really good young core, and that just scares me because the Bengals have a peg leg Joe Burrow and no offensive line.
I bet Big Ben retires soon, and then Mike Tomlin's probably like, it's my way out.
Yeah.
I'll have some bad
That's what I thought
years.
Bill Belichick was going to do. Like, hey, man, why don't I just retire with Tom
Nah, that
Brady?
dude's playing till he's 75.
But, I mean, all right, so what do you think? I mean, I'm taking Steelers 5.5. I don't know if I want to bet on it, though. I hate betting for the Steelers.
I hate this game.
It's just not a game for me. Like, it's like the team that I want to win.
You know what I'm feeling right now?
What?
Browns money line.
I cannot get behind that. The over-under,
Sometimes you gotta bet what you want to root for.
that's true. Throw a little 10 on it, just to bet for the Browns. Maybe a little 50. little 50.
We only bet little 50s.
Yeah, just little 50s on. Those are small bets.
50 buckets.
50 buckets. Oh, but all right, Browns Steelers. I think Steelers win.
I honestly, this is a super low over under.
47.5.
What they do is they were under that last week,
Yeah, but no Steelers players played.
but Mason Rudolph might have a better long passing game than Big Ben does.
Mason Rudolph was throwing some dots to Chase Claypool late, but Ben Roethlisberger.
Chase Claypool hasn't looked like that since week 8.
Yeah, where was that? Where was that game at? Was that game in Pittsburgh or Cleveland? I think it was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They're playing in Pittsburgh again. I think Steelers good wild card team. I feel like they just come out and smack them. Not smack them, win by 10. But if you hate the Steelers like I do, don't bet for them because I don't want to give them that extra heat.
I'm gonna put $5 on the Browns money line. That's my only bet for this game.
And then taking a little turn, talking about something that we do not agree on.
A little turn.
Yeah,
It's still football.
It's still football. And we're going to talk about some backyard. We're going to have a pickup game. All right, national championship, the Ohio State University versus the Alabama Rolling Tide. Alabama coming in at a 7.5 favorite. Over under set at 74.5.
Wow.
Wild number. Didn't know that was a thing.
If you know where I'm citing, I almost started humming the Ohio State fight song.
So, Kyle, you think Ohio State and why?
Let me explain why. All right. 2014. We're going back to the Virginia Tech game.
Oh my gosh.
We lose to Virginia Tech. We're like, season's over. Ohio State, we're still choke artists. We lost Virginia Tech. I think we only lost because JT Barrett was overrated. But
Terrible quarterback.
Terrible. Then win just on a terror. Michigan game. JT Barrett gets injured. And then we have this man named Cardale Jones. And the only highlight we have from him is throwing a pick and targeting somebody. Immediately after.
Yes.
He's giving college Brett Favre vibes off. And then we go on to annihilate everybody in our path. My favorite sports moment of all time, Ohio State beating Nick Saban as a 4 seed with that punt return. Ezekiel Elliott for 80 yards. Big facts. So we got to go with the parallels of why they're going to beat Bama. Ohio State in 2014 randomly established a run game. Ezekiel Elliott before that was a mediocre college running back. Ran for over 200 yards. Trey Sermon, same thing. And then we get the injury, the hype from Justin Fields, but we're not bringing it back up in because this dude's a cyborg.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody get hit that hard and throw back-to-back 50-yard touchdowns.
Different breed. To take a targeting hit and then just turn your hip 60 yards and chuck that thing.
And I think why Ohio State used to lose to the SEC when they went to the national championship every time is because our recruits on the O-line and D-line were small. But now, after Urban Meyer, we can win the trenches for the first time in our lives. And I just think that the momentum is going towards Ohio State.
And then the reason I think Alabama's just going to win is just that I think Alabama's
the easy way out.
It's the easy way because these guys, I mean, I watched them playing against Notre Dame. They didn't look the greatest, but I don't even think they needed to be good to beat Notre Dame. I think they knew. I honestly think that Nick Saban was preparing for Clemson or Ohio State during the Notre Dame game.
That might be true. Ohio State beat Clemson by more than Alabama beat Notre Dame.
That is a fact. Ohio State. I mean, they looked so good against Clemson. I don't know.
You can't tell me that Ohio State didn't look like the best country in the team.
They definitely looked like the better team in that game. I wish Clemson would have been able to play with their offensive coordinator. I'm starting to realize that offensive coordinators of how important they are to make offenses like look like they know what they're doing. It's like someone else that doesn't call the plays, comes in and just does exactly the opposite.
Well, in the first quarter, quarter and a half, he looked like he knew. He looked like he was able to emulate what that guy was doing.
And then they couldn't make any changes.
The OSU the OSU defensive coordinator just put a spy on.
Yeah.
What is it, Eddie Ean?
Yeah.
He put a spy on that halfback screen.
Yeah.
Over after
That's
the halfback screen was.
Good coordinators make good changes, and Clemson did not. They looked like they made Trevor Lawrence, who is a very, very good quarterback, they made him look like Kirk Cousins. Like, as bad as it
They
sounds.
did make him look like Kirk Cousins. I feel also on the sideline of that game, they were acting like that safety.
Oh my, that was making me so
They were
mad.
acting like he was the white Ed Reed.
That was making me so mad. They're like, oh, Nolan
They're
Turner.
like, the game is over once this
They're
guy's
like,
in.
what, dude? It's just if Clemson makes it to the second half, keeping the game close, things are going to change. Guy gets dusted. Like the third play, just absolutely.
Back-to-back dusted.
Absolutely dusted for that 60-yard bomb. I'm not even a big Ohio State guy. I mean,
They had me scared in the second half.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's coming in. They're going to make it close.
Yeah.
Dusted.
and then like they were talking about like how this Skalski guy going out was like a big deal. Like, okay, man, it's just probably a guy that gets the guys riled up in the locker room.
He
That's
only
it.
had like 40 tackles.
Yeah, I don't think that Clemson defense is that good. Alabama, they just seemed like a more like well-oiled machine of a team. And then like Devonta Smith, I mean, if you go and look at Devonta Smith's stats against like any team, it's like horrifying. Like,
They might get Jalen Waddle back.
Yeah, if he comes back, it'd be like even scarier. I couldn't. Dude, all right, so think about the Alabama receiving core last year was Devonta Smith. Who else was on that team? Jalen Waddle. Wasn't Henry Ruggs at Alabama? And Jerry Jeudy. So, I mean, like, that's why Tua is a bust, first off. Because he was throwing to those guys. Like, it's just that you don't have to... You actually could do this, throw it with your offhand, and it's going to complete to someone.
Yeah, so going back to that Alabama championship versus Georgia, we're no longer impressed.
No, not at all. I could have made... So you had 2 first-round picks, and then the upcoming Heisman winner were your receivers. You're going to be fine.
I do, but Ohio State has been cornerback university for 5 years.
It will be a good battle, but I don't know. Then also I think about it, like Mac Jones just can't really see him lifting a national championship trophy. There's just something that I just can't see.
I saw that dude with his shirt off in the locker room.
I saw that too. I didn't like that picture at all.
He's looking worse than me after quarantine.
Not looking like a guy that you want to trust. Fourth quarter, 2-minute drill.
But you do
Let's get the guy named Macaroni Jones under center.
What was his middle name?
Oh, it was like.
What is Mac Jones' middle?
It was
all right. This is why I'm changing Gordon's mind right now.
I mean, it's gonna be tough, but this could. I remember it was being something very weird. Oh my.
Oh, this.
I don't even want to look at this.
This is why.
I don't want to look at this.
This is why you have to bet the Ohio State money line. His name is Michael McCorkle Jones.
I mean, I'm still gonna have to back Mr. McCorkle and Nick Saban. I'm gonna take Bama, and I'm gonna take the 7.5. No, I'm not.
I'm feeling even more.
I'm just gonna take Bama to win. If you want to take the 7.5, you can, but I'm gonna take Bama to win, and I'm gonna take the under 74.5.
I cannot see Alabama win by more than a touchdown.
Me either.
If Alabama wins, 42-35.
I think Alabama wins, and I think it's 38-33. I don't know how they're gonna get to 33. Gonna be some weird stuff that happens to get them there. 38-33, Alabama wins.
Also, I bet on the Ohio State money line like a week ago. So.
And I'm also a bad college football bettor. Bet on Clemson to beat Ohio State. They did not. Wasn't happy about that. Dabo Sweeney, if you ever want to come on the podcast, you're not welcome.
Yeah, I thought he was about to say you're welcome.
No.
I was gonna say no.
No, I'm not a fan of Dabo Sweeney.
See, I would have Nick Saban on there.
Oh yeah, I talked to Nick Saban.
But not Dabo.
No, not Dabo Sweeney. There are some coaches.
Not Tommy Tuberville.
No, not a chance.
Not after that.
Not Brian Kelly either. I don't want to talk Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly couldn't even wait till after the bowl game to leave UC. Had us go out there and get slammed by Florida.
Who was the dude with the one arm in that game? The Cincinnati QB who had a broken arm.
Are you talking about Tony Pike?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'll be able to talk about the moment. Cincinnati should have been in the national championship that year. Texas played Nebraska in the Big 12 championship. Texas was the 2 seed at the time. Cincinnati was the 3 seed. Texas played Nebraska.
And then Ndamukong Suh.
And Ndamukong Suh was in this game.
I've never seen a
this game.
defensive tackle win a game.
Well, no, they lost this game because Texas ended up winning this game off some nonsense.
Oh,
This was Texas threw the ball away. Ball was in the air, still in the air. Clock goes to 0 seconds. Colt McCoy's, I hate Colt McCoy. Throws it out of play. Colt McCoy also beat me in a bet.
Yeah.
That Giants-Seahawks
He
game.
beat the Giants.
I actually hate Colt McCoy.
That was my first week I ever laid a bet. Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy throws the ball away against Nebraska. Time goes to 0. Ref comes out. Yeah, there's just 1 second left. Texas kicks a field goal. They win the game. They go to the national championship. Get slammed by Alabama, which is what would have happened to UC. We would have broke the record for worst loss ever. But we would have been in the national championship. That would have been dope.
Yeah. I can't, because like Ohio State with their O-line would have got crushed by Alabama's D-line.
Oh,
that
UC
year.
loses that game 8-0.
That O-line had to be made up of 2 and 3 star recruits.
Yeah, I mean, hey, UC's on the come up now. We're starting to steal some recruits in Ohio. We'll see what happens in the coming future. Got rigged by Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh, now we covered all of our 7 games we wanted to talk about. Now we got some little betting things. If you are a betting man
Everybody's
or
a betting
woman,
guy.
if you're a betting woman,
Haven't met one yet.
betting robot, many betting robots, betting dogs. I think my dog Debo probably would have been.
Betting is gender neutral.
That is true. Anyone can bet.
There's one betting Twitter, and this one woman runs it. I don't know her name, but
She fire?
I've checked back on her bets. I haven't seen so many more fire. I'm not kidding.
That's honestly impressive.
She's called some bets where I'm like,
And people think betting's random. There's a lot of research that you can do to put yourself in the best spot. And that's why you're here to listen to us.
yeah.
or
Gordon on the player props. I haven't seen anybody better.
And the only reason I wasn't huge on a player prop last week is Mike Evans hyperextending his knee as he went to catch the touchdown to win me $150 minimum, which was just downright depressing.
You know, I'm looking back at my can't lose parlay and I contradicted myself.
I'm looking at the notes right in front of me. So is there
I'm
something
changing it.
you want to change something to this can't lose parlay?
I just changed it.
All right, here I can tell you exactly on the odds this would get, so you can talk about it while I figure out the odds
All right.
that it would give you.
So, I am ripping this off of Big Cat from Pardon My Take, and this podcast is a rip off of Pardon My Take. By the
for
way.
sure.
So I'm a big fan of the can't lose parlay. I think it's the best way to get good odds on something that can for sure happen, except when the Jets beat the Rams. But I am taking a 3-way parlay on my can't lose parlay this week. The Bucks money line. I talked a lot of trash about Tom Brady in prime time, but he's winning by at least 1 point. Then
the one.
Bills minus 2.5. I would like to take a minus 16, but bad idea.
Well, on this Bucks and Saints, would you like 2.5 or you just like the money line?
Money line.
You like the money line?
I wouldn't do 2.5, but I lost like $50 off the Browns. The Browns only winning by 2.
Was a tough moment. And then your final leg of the parlay?
Saints money line.
Saints money line. So if you take those 3 teams,
I'm relying on the Nickelodeon game.
It will come down to the Nickelodeon game. Will be the decider.
Will that be the final
That'll
game?
be the final leg of that because the other 2 games are on Saturday, right?
Oh God, that means Mitchell Trubisky being narrated by SpongeBob could ruin my day.
Could, and that would be very, very annoying to hear. But if you take the Buccaneers money line,
If that happens, I'm retiring from betting.
Buccaneers, he won't retire from betting if that happens. Buccaneers money line, Bills 2.5, Saints money line. That comes out to plus 115 odds.
That's money line.
Doubles your money and gives you a little bit extra for something that, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen because I think the Colts are winning, which I actually really just don't know why I think it. It's just like one of those weird feelings I have right now. Probably won't
one
happen.
of Philip Rivers' kids is gonna wake him up in the middle of the night.
Oof, where's that game at though? They're in Buffalo, so he won't have the kids with. If he takes the kids with them, then it's over. The Bills have won. He better not take the kids.
How many hotel rooms would that be?
Oh my gosh, at least like 8, right? Like,
You can do 2 a bed.
no, he's got
a 13-member family.
As long as he keeps the kids at home, I like the chances. So now, as I put
That's
together,
at least. They might be in 4 hotel rooms.
and then I'm going to put together a little parlay here of what I think is going to happen. It looks pretty similar to that. I'm a big fan of the 2.5s. The 2.5s to me are pretty certain. I mean, sometimes it can go wrong, but I like that extra bit of value because I do like money. You know, like who doesn't like yourself a little bit of money here?
We are both up in betting, by the way.
For sure. All right.
Gordon has. Have you tripled your money?
Like 2.7 times probably for sure.
I'm at like 2.2 times. Gordon's bet way more, so
Yeah.
he's made way more. But if we're going multiplication, I'm not that far
If
behind.
you're going off like unit sizes, we're about up the exact same.
If the Browns, I would be ahead if the Browns.
Yeah, I could not believe, and my first ever big bet was my first ever time on FanDuel. I'll say this while I put together a bet on FanDuel.
Wild.
If you've used FanDuel before, you know that they have a promotion that the first time you make a bet, it's a risk-free bet, meaning that if you lose the bet, this sounds like an ad for them. FanDuel should pay me for this.
We should probably put the 1-800-GAMBLER
Yeah.
somewhere in this podcast.
But if your first bet on FanDuel is a risk-free bet, even if you lose it, you get that amount in FanDuel credit. I put $1,000 on the Browns to not lose by 14.5 to the Ravens. Thank the Lord that Lamar Jackson had to go to the restroom because they were going to win that game by more than 14.5.
Yeah, that's another reason why I think the Browns are overrated because the Ravens are going to win that game by 21.
And then also to parlay with that, I took Nick Chubb over I think it was 60 rushing yards.
No, 79.5.
79.5. And this guy, I'm not even kidding you. If you would have seen me, I wish I would have recorded me reacting to this game because every time Kareem Hunt came into the game, I sunk into the couch of sadness. And every time Nick Chubb came into the game, I went crazy. So happy. He ended up having 2 more yards than the amount to win me the bet. And I mean, it was a good day. Won $2,100 win, $1,100 profit. And that's put me in a moment today that I can make bets that I can know I'm going to stay positive because I don't bet that much anymore. I do bet a lot though. My can't lose parlay though. Remember this: if it hits, you'll love me. If it don't, then don't come for me. Pretty much the same as Kyle's, except for just one change towards the end. I got Buccaneers minus 2.5 against the football team. Saints minus 2.5 in the Nickelodeon Bowl against the Bears. And I got the Steelers minus 2.5. This will kill me to root for, but I just know they're going to win. So I got to take the money on it. Minus 230 odds on that is good for a parlay. And I got the Alabama money line on Monday night to close it out.
That's not even that good of odds.
It's minus 300 to get it up. I got to get it up. The odds on it, on that whole thing, are plus 216. So take your money and triple it, right? That's what it does?
Mine's more guaranteed, by the way.
That is true. It's 3 legs compared to 4. But, I mean, you got to take some risks. His is a can't lose parlay. Mine's a might lose parlay, but you're going to make some real money. And this is how I've made my money. It's 4-leggers with some boldness to them. But games that I really like, we can do this games that you really like little 1-2-leggers. I think Saints minus 2.5, Steelers minus 2.5, Bucks minus 2.5. That right there is plus 137. That's serious money. Or even take out the Steelers, Buccaneers, Saints, both to win by 2.5, minus 153. You put $200 on that, $150 profit. That's just.
I think that the biggest. Actually, I don't know if we can get. I don't know if it's more of a lock for Bills and Bucks or Bills and Saints.
I'm just not on this Bills train, so I cannot be on your side about this. I want them to lose. All right, so also I have to preface my bias here. Is I've been putting $5 on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl for 2 months now. Every time I go to Indiana to place bets. So I need the Bills to lose so that they don't play the Chiefs and beat the Chiefs. Because that's the only team in the AFC that can beat the Chiefs. It is the Bills. There's not another team. Maybe if Lamar Jackson decided to play.
If the Ravens are legit, maybe.
Yeah, but that's it. And then, I've got some player props. I took a few little player prop looks. Ronald Jones over 56.5 rushing yards. That's something I'll be throwing some money on. Reason for it.
They're gonna be so spread out from Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's wide receivers are insane.
Yeah, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, right there. Like boom, you got to guard all of them.
And they're gonna be up.
They're gonna be winning. If you're winning, Tom Brady's not a guy that when he's winning he wings that thing. Like they still try and run the ball.
No, they're trying. That dude, his rotator cuff is probably hanging by a thread.
If they're up by 10, they're not gonna be like, hey Tom, go out there and throw 60 yards to Mike Evans. They're gonna be like, hey Tom, hand this off to Ronald Jones 3 times. Let's get first downs. And then also in that same game, Terry McLaurin under 67.5 receiving yards. I just don't think the football team gets 150 yards passing total. I just don't even see it happening.
That's a little riskier.
I don't know how they're gonna.
I've seen
move the
for
ball.
a cool 6 catches, like 70 yards. That's the only
It could-
thing
it
Alex
could
Smith
happen.
does all game.
It could happen, but I mean, this last game, I don't know if Terry and he's playing with a bad ankle. He's trying to play through an injury that he shouldn't. He's hurt. And then want to talk about our bold bets?
My bold bets of the week are I think that the Bills are so good. I also want to say that I've been on the Bills bandwagon since like week 9.
This is true. Before they beat the Steelers.
Before they beat
Because that's when everyone was like, "Oh gosh, the Bills are gonna win the Super Bowl, aren't they?" Like,
yeah. So I'm a part-time Bills Mafia. It's all because I think Josh Allen is Brett Favre Jr. and Brett Favre was my favorite player growing up. So I'm taking for my bold bet. I'm gonna tease the Bills bet and make it go up to -13, and the Ohio State money line.
Together? Oh,
No, not together.
Oh, let's say together.
I might
You know,
throw 5 on that combo.
let me see how much that money would get you right there. As you talk, why you think that the Bills are just gonna come and slap these guys?
Yeah, here's why I think so. So the Bills put up 56 on the Dolphins, who have a really good defense, to where this Dolphins defense picked Patrick Mahomes 3 times. And Josh Allen threw for almost 300 yards in the first half.
This parlay, if you take Bills minus 12.5, is that what you want?
No, -13.
I can't do it. It's only 12.5 or 13.5.
Gee, it's so bold. FanDuel won't even let me.
But minus 12.5, Ohio State money line comes in at plus 855.
What if I put $5 on it?
$5 to win $42. It's something that could happen. I do not have a bold bet anywhere near that. I can't think of something as bold
I'm
as
probably
that.
not. I might put
Parlay, that would be
$2 on
bold.
that.
But I mean, like, out of the two of these, because Bills minus 12.5 is only plus 185. Like, I feel like that's like, I feel like they should give you more than that for betting someone to win by 13 points.
Wait, what is Bills -13?
Plus 185.
Yeah, I mean, FanDuel don't even think it's that bold.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, they think they could, which they definitely could. I mean, it's just 2 touchdown win. That could definitely happen. They could win 38-10. I wouldn't be
The
surprised.
Colts aren't that much better than the Dolphins.
No. I guess my bold parlay or bet would be putting those 2 parlays, those 2 player props I was talking about, Ronald Jones over 56.5, McLaurin under 67.5, and then give me a Mike Evans touchdown, and give me.
Is he playing?
Yeah, he's playing. And then
Did he not tear his
no,
ACL?
he just hyperextended it. That's all he did, and he was cool. Like just wanted to mess up my bet and then leave the game. But then take those 2 player props, take Mike Evans to score a touchdown. Actually, not take Ronald Jones to score a touchdown, and then take the Bucs to win by 5.5. And I bet you win some serious money. That's my bold bet. That's probably like plus 600 odds, I'd say.
I don't know if that's bold or not, to be honest. I'm not the best with players.
I would think anything over plus 400 odds, you're like in that bold range. Like, ooh, this might not happen.
I don't know. The most bold bet I've hit so far was when I bet the Bengals money line versus the Texans.
That was very random. I don't even know what my biggest odd win
They
is.
quadrupled my money.
Yeah.
I think that's all the serious talk we got.
And we got one last little topic.
We have one last segment. So, for our listeners, we don't even know if we have listeners, to be honest. I'm sure one person will. We want to do a segment. Tell us if it's bad or not. We're going to kind of do a like high school superlative kind of thing for NFL teams and players. And so, since this happened yesterday, it's hot on everybody's mind. Everybody's talking about it. What team and player is most likely to be a part of the storming of the Capitol building?
And have we decided we're gonna do playoff teams only, or we want to do any team in the NFL?
I think we should do any team.
Any team. All right. So how about we choose? We start with a coach, and then we go to a player, and then we do a team to end it. What player do you? All right. So let's start with a coach in the NFL. Who do you think out of the? Let's each bring up the NFL head coaches list here.
Yeah.
I would say out of all the current NFL coaches, I mean, there's got to be one that's just definitely a serious Trump guy, right? If I had to think of one of them, I mean, it wouldn't be John Gruden. He's got to be on the short list. Like he's got to be on the.
I could definitely see him being for some conspiracy theories.
Bill Belichick, no. He seems too focused on other things to be involved.
That's true.
In that.
He's one of those guys who, if you ask him about politics, he'd be like, "I don't. Why would you talk about politics?"
All right. What about what's that one guy's name? What about Mike Zimmer? Mike Zimmer, you think he might? So my short list so far, I've got Mike Zimmer, John Gruden.
Mike, man, I don't even know half these dudes. Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy, he is so focused on ruining the Bears' offense.
I could see Matt Nagy posting on Facebook about how he loves it.
Yeah, that could definitely happen. I'm gonna have to lock in my answer. I think John Gruden. He just seems like that type of guy to me.
What about Mike McCarthy?
Ooh, Mike McCarthy. I don't know. I feel like he's too lazy to even get up and do it. He just seems like a guy that if Mike McCarthy was allowed to sit in a lawn chair on the sideline, I feel like he would.
Josh McDaniels seems like another guy who would be a fan of it on the sideline.
All right, so we named a few. I'm going to go with John Gruden for my coach to be most likely to storm the Capitol building.
Man, I don't know. I feel like all these guys look so unathletic that they wouldn't take part in it, but secretly funded. Like they would buy the hoodies.
That's true.
I could see Bill Belichick throwing some money to just to get or he could not, because the Capitol storming could have got Tom Brady hyped.
That is true.
So
then we got to choose a player in the whole NFL. This will not be easy. I mean, is it Mason Rudolph? I feel like that's too easy to just throw Mason Rudolph under the bus like this.
What about Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp.
Oof. He's probably a good dude.
Yeah,
I feel like if your name's Cooper Kupp, you're a good dude.
I feel like Cooper Kupp's a good guy. There's got to be a few.
I bet Kirk Cousins is okay with it.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
He'd be the type to gritty.
in the Capitol building? He would just be hitting that.
That's not what I was going to say.
Yeah, oh, okay.
But no, it is what I was going to say. What about Cliff Kingsbury?
I don't like him at all. There's a lot of things I don't like about that guy. So yeah, he'd probably do it. Player-wise, it's tough. I feel like there's not a lot of players out there. I mean, Danny Amendola.
No, I looked it up. He wasn't racist.
Oh, dang. He definitely should.
He was on my short list.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you play for the Patriots, you might storm the Capitol building.
That's true.
I mean, you're named after a revolutionary.
That's facts.
So.
Okay, so you also take that
Vikings.
Rex Burkhead. Rex Burkhead. Do you remember that guy? He's on the Patriots now. He was on the Bengals for a while. He's a little white running back. Tore his ACL this year. Whoa, wait, never mind. Wouldn't storm the Capitol. Bad ACL. Can't move.
Some of those people in the Capitol building did not look like they could run.
Danny Woodhead.
Patriots running backs are in the hot seat.
Yeah, they definitely need to explain themselves to make sure they're not racist.
What about a quarterback? Dwayne Haskins.
I feel like he will.
I feel
like he'll do anything to get in the media's light to get in trouble. So
there's a few pictures of dudes just big chilling in the White
just
House
there because
who look like they were just hanging out. I could see Dwayne Haskins.
No mask at all, just in full Redskins gear as well. Oh, I just said the Redskins. The football team.
He lives close.
All right, I think if you look through the tape, I bet you he was there.
Maybe
James Harden just in there too for no reason.
James Harden.
James Harden and Dwayne Haskins in the Capitol building and in Nancy Pelosi's office just sitting.
Who's the Bengals tight end?
Drew Sample?
Yeah, he could have been there.
Drew Sample definitely, but no one even noticed. Because there was
I don't know what he looks like.
If Drew Sample walked into the Trenton skyline, I'd be like, wow, that's a big dude. I would never say, oh, wait, that's a Bengals player. Do you think you would
Mason Rudolph? You said Mason Rudolph, but I was thinking about Kyle Rudolph when you said that.
Oh.
So I'm rechanging my answer to Mason Rudolph.
Oh, yeah, Mason Rudolph. I feel like it was just too easy to say.
Oh, that's a lock. I would bet on that.
Yeah, that the odds would come in at -500 that he was actually there. And then team. Which team do you think is most likely, as a unit, to storm the Capitol building?
I mean, it's got to be the Patriots.
I feel like there's another team out there that just gives off some other weird vibes. Let me look at the NFL.
The Jaguars.
I feel like
we forgot about Mike Glennon.
Mike Glennon. That guy's so weird.
I feel like you got to be a good dude for backup for that long.
Yeah, that's true. You can't.
Hey, what about Luke McCown?
Is he even a part of the NFL?
No,
anymore?
but he just looks like he's at the Capitol building.
What other team? I feel like the Titans give off a weird vibe. I don't know why.
Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill?
The Capitol building defense could not stop Derrick Henry.
No, not a chance. Or even our top Ryan Tannehill read option. I'm telling you,
Some-
this is a dangerous play.
Some of the dudes that ran by them, I mean...
Or like the Saints, like Sean Payton. Sean Payton seems like he'd really be up for that. I don't know why.
Yeah. He teamed up with Dr. Heat for the bounty scandal.
That's honestly something that just... How are you allowed to coach in the NFL after that?
They tried to kill Brett Favre.
Like they were paying players
To kill Brett Favre.
to drill, like try and injure them. That is like something that you would usually say like, hey man, I mean really I don't know if you should be a coach anymore. That's kind of messed up. Like that's something we can't allow here. But yeah, I feel like the Patriots just the easy answer. Maybe the Panthers. Matt Rule looks like he runs like one of those. I have a bold prediction about Matt. I have a bold prediction about Matt Rule, but I'm not allowed to say it on here.
That's fine.
Oh, I can't say it?
No, I said that's...
No! Oh, no, I definitely cannot say it.
Yeah, let's not.
But, yeah, whenever it comes out
what
about
does
Matt
Joe
Rule,
Judge look like?
he looks like Bill Belichick, but 40 years younger. So,
I need to see that.
like, I don't remember what Bill Belichick looked like when he was young, but I bet you it was Joe Judge.
He's masked up. I don't even know what he looks like. Oh, wow.
No, that is not Joe Judge in the middle there at all.
It's not?
That's Bill Parcells, ain't it?
Bill Parcells.
Oh, Bill Parcells.
He was definitely for the
NFL coach of the 2000s on the hot seat for being bad people.
This dude just looks like he cares too much about football.
Yeah, too much. Joe Judge. He was a special teams coach. If you're a special teams coach at one point...
What about the Bears? Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles leading the charge?
Who were some other players on the Bears, too? I feel like they couldn't get...
David Montgomery's putting an end to that.
Yeah, and I think like all the Bears players are. I don't feel like Mitchell Trubisky is allowed to talk in the locker room. Like they're like, dude, if you say a word, we'll actually just Khalil Mack's like, I'll blindside hit you right now.
Yeah.
I think we covered about everything we need.
I think so. We're at the hour and a half mark.
So if you're still listening at this point,
I can't imagine anybody listening to us for more than 20 minutes.
All right, so we can say some things here. I mean, we're gonna create. We're recording this before we've even created a Twitter for it, a YouTube for it,
a logo.
A logo. We haven't created.
We're only half sure about our name.
TikTok. That's facts. It honestly could change. I could end up changing it on the editing.
I'm still down for the bingos.
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna post like some clips from this on all sorts of things. If you did listen throughout all this, thank you. And you might have some issues yourself for listening to all this. But I mean, if you enjoyed it, you got to let us know. Or give us some things you want us to talk about. Or maybe, the one thing we like a lot is like conspiracy theories about players.
Yeah.
Like, just if you've got any weird thought.
Anything about Romeo Crennel.
Yes. If you have some weird feeling about anyone you want us to talk about, do not be afraid to send it in to us. We're going to post this on Twitter, some clips on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a semi-serious sports podcast. Like, we're reacting to everything as it comes out. We'll have some semi-educated opinions because we do want to make money off of this.
Yeah.
And if we lose you money, that's your fault for listening to us.
Oh yeah, facts. Well, you can't be like, yo, where's my $10? I put $10 on the can't lose parlay and it lost. Be like, well, my fault.
Nobody's ever came to me for money advice.
Nope, and they won't. I guarantee they will not come to us.
No.
So if you come to us for that, then leave for that as well. But I mean, other than that, I think I'm all good.
Where do you think we're gonna get our listeners from? Probably your FIFA followers in like football.
Someone will. Someone's got to
listen. Are there European dudes?
There's some Europeans. There's some Americans. And there's some Cincinnati faithful.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you're a Liverpool fan, then we're not winning the league.
Manchester United is winning the league. I said it here first. I'm off the bench. Off the bench. Gordon Thornsbury predicts Manchester United Premier League title.
As long as we have Fabinho and Henderson at center back,
Bad
no
situation. All right.
that's
I think we can wrap it up after our 2-minute Premier League talk. That'll be something we talk about in the future, though.
it worked out perfectly because after the NFL's over,
We got other sports.
nobody watches the whole Premier League season.
No. It's just the last 10 minutes, and then the Champions League, like
But
the round of 16 comes around.
From March to end of May, money.
And then guess what? June, NBA playoffs. Then after that, guess what? NFL, let's go.
July will be a rough time.
True. But
No, Euros,
that is true. The Euros are this year, and then the World Cup is next year.
Winter Olympics.
And then that's back when we're going to be so big that we'll be interviewing Christian Pulisic before their World Cup final against France.
And Sean White.
We're ending it on that note.